Alright, not being, like, this isn't art, alright, this is, well, it's not deliberate art, but look, it looks quite phallic at the moment, not intentional. Found this canvas in a Lopis, and been dying for some kind of method of art to happen, because I'm just frustrated as hell at the moment. I've got so many subjects that are occurring in my head that I'm just like, I'm a little bit, this is the word, fragmented, I would say. So I am literally chucking stuff out in accordance with feeling here, and I'm recording what I'm up to. Do not expect good results. There's a good philosophy. That's also what I'm saying to you. It's also kind of what I'm saying to myself. So what I'm going to do is, as you can see, the activity here is one of just like randomly pulling these out, squirting them on, and I'm going to get my hands dirty in a minute. Alright, so yeah, we've got a mixture of oils and acrylics here, and I'm going to be talking about the subjects that are on my mind at the moment. One of them, I think I've hit on something quite heavy at the moment, and I would like to screw it. Alright, I would like to express exactly what it is that's bothering me about this thought process that I've had. Right, what I was thinking is that we live in a society. This is a cliche now that's hitting the kids on the internet with the memes and the culture wars and all this sort of stuff. See, if you say we live in a society, then you immediately open yourself up for mockerage, and that is because I think at the same time everybody's trying to save the world, everybody's also having a bit of a revolution against taking themselves too seriously. But saving the world is a very, very serious activity here, and quite a lot of our memes, the problem with the memes that we're spreading is that they are data packets of history, but a lot of them are flavoured by mistakes, and that means that, well, they're very much like, I don't know if you know the details of what happened in the banking crisis in 2008. There were these like mortgages that were packaged up. They were terrible mortgages, but they were put in a package to make it look good. It's sort of the equivalent of a piece of electronics that has like a Sony written on the outside, but cheap tap electronic pieces in the middle. You know, sort of forgeries basically. And a lot of memes are actual forgeries. So if they resonate with you and they ring true, it might be because you're actually misinformed and you're reading a forgery and you're having your perspective and point of view reinforced by a lie. So I'm noticing this on the culture wars, on the left and right biases kind of mechanism, is that people are actually tribalizing up based on the fueling. So we've got a tribalism issue, and the thing about tribalism is that it's actually a human characteristic, and you don't actually need to identify the tribes too well. I mean, there are loads and loads of ways that you can divide people up into tribes. You've got your visual with this skin colour business, you've got your societal role stuff with this gender bit. Age, you've got, you know, the millennials and everyone else, or the baby boomers, and you know, there's just loads and loads of ways that these divisions occur, and as individuals we end up in different tribes against different people, or who you know, you can be in one tribe where one person's your enemy, but then you can share that tribe with that exact same person and they're not an enemy. So the idea that we should allow our world to descend into some kind of global catastrophic conflict is actually, well, it's retarded, basically, was what I was going to say. It's retarded. The word retarded should be allowed to be used again. It's much better than degenerate. Anyway, I alluded to a big idea earlier on, so let me tell you what this big idea was. Jordan Peterson's got into trouble recently for daring to suggest that chaos is feminine and order is masculine. He was talking on a sort of symbolic way, but considering he's just written a book called The Antidote to Chaos, it makes perfect sense that he's getting accused of being a misogynist who wants to reinforce patriarchy. I get that. I get that that's why that's happening. And, you know, he should certainly face up to the consequences of that with some decent discussion. He goes on quite a lot in a lot of his conversations about the significance of the arrival of birth control in the 20th century, on the effect that that had for the liberation of women. He doesn't say it's a bad thing, he just says it's a significant thing. And if you think about it, the first time in the whole history of humanity that women have had the control over the reproduction of humanity is quite a major deal, and we don't have the psychological or mythological preparation for it. We're actually pioneers in this because, hey, who saw that coming? So that's finally happened. So that is the significant altercation in the feminine that has led to women's new role in society. However it was formerly defined, it's not the same anymore. It's over. How it was beforehand is over. So that's very, very significant, with the arrival of birth control, and that happened in the 20th century when the world was tearing itself apart in a terrible, terrible way. And in order to stop the world tearing itself apart, the masculine, who was obviously playing a major role in that tearing itself apart, the masculine came up with nuclear war, the nuclear warhead. So in the same century that women got to control birth, the masculine, I should have said feminine got to control birth, the masculine got to control the Armageddon, the apocalypse, the whole thing. So all of our mythologies that have been preparing us for the end of the world have led us to the materialization of the possibility that we could actually end the world. So the masculine and feminine needs to have a conversation. And I think the round table discussion of this should be under the axiom of, how do we stop the fighting?